One thing that unites all 100 drop videos is that they all land at one POI. And I think that is kind of a shame, because Epic Games put so much love and care into their maps, and I feel like it's rarely appreciated due to the focus put on the POI. That's why I'm going to be dropping at every single landmark on the Chapter 1 map, to give the whole map a chance to shine in the spotlight. Welcome to Landmark Drops. Since Chapter 1 doesn't have any landmarks, I had to get creative and made my own map of locations that I consider to be landmarks. The unique areas that stand out in some way or another. Game 1, we're landing at the Metal Llama. At first I thought I had to chop the entire thing down. Luckily I could just mantle into it. Oh god, please get this manic a new modem, she needs it! After I put her out of her misery, I moved on to Pleasant Park. This other player was intent on demolishing this house, but I didn't let him. This game was recorded right before the Season 7 and 8 hotfix went live, so you'll notice I have the Porta Fortress. Not that I'll get to use it since I got lasered by this inferno. Traitor! Betrayer! You lied to us! I'll never trust you again! Where's the building? I'll never trust you again! Liar! If I decide to do another 100 drops, I'll do them all in build mode. Game 1, we're landing at the Metal Llama. Again. This time I actually landed on top of it. Being able to edit the structure makes it much easier to loot. Then I got my first kill in builds. Even if it was likely a bot. Here I'm still getting used to being able to build. I do play builds, but all of that is in creative. Whenever I play BR, it's always in zero build. So here I have to remind myself that, oh yeah, I can build, so harvesting math would be a good idea. Whenever I play bios with my friends, they call me the Chopper. Just kidding, I just came up with that. But I do have a habit of shooting down everyone's builds. When I come up against another player that can fight, I backed up to my death from pure fear. I call this location the mini movie set, because there's a mini movie set inside. I know, not very creative. If you thought this name was bad, trust me, the rest are exactly the same, if not worse. Before we get to see the movie set, I see this bot explode himself, which has got to be one of the funnier things I've seen the AI do. Like the true zero build player I am, I use a door to protect myself instead of some builds. I mean, it did work, to be honest. In the endgame, I posted myself on top of the evil layer, and people kindly kept delivering their loot towards me. That is until one of them fought back a little too much. Unlike when I did the 100 drops video, I actually have some friends that play this game. So you'll be seeing some duo, trio and squad games as well. This landmark used to be a unique industrial building, but it got replaced by a creative prefab. They did the same thing with the floating island. Instead of bringing back the original version, they brought back the creative prefab. Which is why the chests take longer to search and the cube doesn't react when you shoot it. It's incredibly lazy on Fortnite's part and showed to me that Fortnite OG was probably quite rushed and how little they actually care about their own map. Rant aside, I'm not sure how much I can rely on my teammate when he cannonballed himself into the ocean and later in the same match runs straight towards the opponents. At the evil layer, I managed to fend off a full trio of bots by the skin of my teeth. I was meant to rescue my friend, but instead I missed every shot and ended up getting smoked. In Game 5, you don't even get to see the landmark because OBS sometimes eats my inputs and doesn't start the recording. Not that it matters much because I'm already knocked and there we go. After looting the entire football field, I was going to help out my friend, but I saw some players that I thought I could take on. Instead, I got jump scared. Hey, we're actually landing at a well-known location for once. I tried to get a patented epic grenade kill, but it didn't work out. I got into a tense fight in Greasy Grove and my duo clutched up. When we got to Tilted, I had the worst miss input I've ever had.
Oh no!
In Game 8, we're landing at Crackshot's cabin, the only landmark that has an official name. Decided to have a little more fun with the loadout this game, trying out the re-added Season 7 and 8 items. Still haven't learned how to use the grenade launcher properly though. Landing at the remains of Polar Peak in Game 9, although nothing interesting happens, so I'll skip to the part where I obliterate this stashed. His duo escaped in a quad crasher and disappeared without a trace. Even after a long and thorough investigation, he was never seen again. Anyway, we lost that game. This is the perfect example of me forgetting I could build. It's almost painful to watch. Seeing this rift encounter spawn, I just realized that it's probably meant to be a crashed, spray-painted blimp from Chapter 3 Season 3. I got the freest kill I've ever gotten in this game, and then choked against this other player. I could have won if I just switched back to my shotgun. This industrial complex looks a little familiar. I wonder where I've seen it before. My familiarity helped me wipe a squad of bots that came to me one after another. My teammates were doing a skybase, but ran out of mats. My friend's friend is actually a really good player, but even he couldn't survive getting shot at from 4 different directions. Going again with the skybase in Game 12, after landing at the Towering Pagoda, which could technically just be a part of Lucky Landing. The skybase didn't even make a difference since by the time I got shot down, the pros in the team had already cleared most of the lobby. I ended up getting hard carry to the win. I didn't even get a single kill. Finally back to solos in Game 13. Not sure why I put this place on the Landmark map. It's a hole that's essentially a part of Fatal Fields. It's not even unique, since there's another hole that's on the other side of Fatal. I got some alright kills this game, and due to having pretty good loot, I liked my chances of winning. I heard another player, so I boxed up, but got perfectly distracted by a plane flying by. Look, you can see him right there. I didn't quite manage to land at the refreshing oasis, and I stayed there for exactly 24 seconds, but it's my video, and I'm counting it. The rest of the games are played during the last Season X week of Fortnite OG, which means I get to use all the amazingly fun Season X items. In fact, there were too many of them, so I had a hard time choosing. Although this kill made my decision very easy. I had fun killing bots in fun ways, until a sweat ruined it. I love all of the fun, wacky Season X items because of how chaotic they are. Proximity launcher, baller, jetpack. Oh, well, at least it meant I didn't have to build, which I'm allergic to. My aerial supremacy led me to the win. I'm not going to lie, this was one of the most fun matches of Fortnite I've played in a long time. This is why Fortnite needs to have Fortnite-y feeling items that are just chaotic fun to use. Landing at the place I already kind of landed at 2 games ago, it's always a tough decision picking between the serious weapons and the meme weapons. But this chest was a sign from the gods to go full meme mode. The airstrike is pretty much a delete player weapon. The memeness emanating from the loadout was too much, so I had to be silenced. At the dusty junkyard, I finally managed to use the storm flip effectively, driving this player out of safety and letting me get an easy kill. Since the airstrikes had already proven themselves, I wanted to give the proximity launcher some time in the spotlight. But in hindsight, the airstrike would have been much more effective in this situation. At least I got to shoot down this player's plane, so that's something. Landed at the softies parlor and got an epic grenade kill against a bot. This time I decided to give the spotlight to the junk riffs, and although most of them missed, I managed to hit a bot with one of them. The real MVP was the grenade launcher. I hear a fight? Solution? Grenade launcher. A lot of grenade launcher. I guess most players don't know what to do when they come up against a flying grenade launching player. In fact, even the last player wasn't able to come up with a solution. In game 19, I got a good number of kills early on due to how good the jetpack is. After opening the supply drop, I was set in terms of loot, and after listening to Sloane's emotional goodbye,
keep the campfires burning, Jones.
I was ready emotionally as well. I was ready for back-to-back wins, but instead I ended up dying to fall damage. Landing at the iconic
Truckosaurus
in game 20. I felt like I've really neglected the flintlock, because it can do this. Oh yeah, now I remember why I avoid single shot weapons. In the end game I got lost in the builds, and a jetpack can only help so much. I was actually planning on doing my ranked game here at the Hero Mansion, but I decided against it because it had too few chests. Junk Riffs helped me find this guy's location, and I beamed him out of the sky. You snipe me, I kill you. The zone ends up going to Loot Island, so I knew it was going to be a tough fight. I was correct, because by the time I got there, a threat had already posted himself on top of it. You know, maybe I shouldn't use a jetpack at all. Game 22 ended up being the highest kill game. So, you know what that means? Kill montage. Yeah, I really blundered that last kill. Game 23 is the only completely missing game. I died after getting overly confident with a gold scar and got put back to where I belong by a threat. I almost third-partied the Spectronite, but she managed to slip away. Then I realized I had no ammo. Looted retail, no ammo. That is, until I barely managed to kill this player that was way better than me. Because this time the spraying into the enemy's box strategy worked. After I beamed this poor bot and got beamed myself, the other player turned it into a 1v1. Not gonna lie, this was a pretty intense build battle. We were trading blows until I caught the ledge and the opponent didn't, giving me the third victory royale of the Landmark Drops. Back-to-back wins. Just kidding, I died to this. Oh damn, actually never mind. This game wasn't too interesting, except that the supply drop gave me nothing good. Luckily, the second one gave me a gold tack. However, in builds, that won't be the gold spaz. If you thought the last jump scare was bad, this one nearly killed me. I was surprised that someone else landed at Plateau Peak, but I dealt with him. I wanted to cause some chaos and salty with these nades, but was ambushed by a Mindy bomber. I was one frame away from shooting her, but she beat me to it. With 4 days left on the countdown to the end of Season OG, I gave the rocket one last salute. I can't wait to see what the live event has to offer. After that, I headed to the Diffit itself for some third partying, but with all the threats congregating in the middle, it was only a matter of time till I was gunned down. Game 30, the last game of the Landmark Drops. I killed this other reality hopping visitor, before also saluting the scientist's capsule for good measure. As I jumped down into the fray below, I knew a new day awaited me on the other side of the Big Bang. Wait, let's not end the video just yet. The stats for the landmark drops showed me how much I improved at the game by comparing it to the 100 drops. In 30 games, I got 109 kills, which equates to 3.63 kills per match, which is quite the improvement over the 2.48 I got 9 months ago. Even more impressively, I got more solo wins in 30 games of builds, of all things, than 100 games of zero build. I guess all those matches of bios paid off. I had a fun time experiencing all of the Chapter 1 landmarks again and giving them some much needed appreciation. Here's my tier list of all of the Chapter 1 landmarks in case you're interested. I hope you also liked my trip down memory lane to locations oft forgotten. I'll see you in Chapter 5.